Really weird. So, hi, welcome. How's it going? I've been having technical trouble with YouTube for a while. This is a recurring issue, especially when, okay, so anyway, I've been struggling with with orientation for live streams for a while, and it actually like completely changed the way that I live stream for like a while, because I was just like, it's too unreliable. I'm not gonna keep fighting this. So I started streaming vertical, and I genuinely really, really hate streaming vertical. It sucks. And the reason why it sucks is because when I stream in vertical, I do get more viewers, like more new viewers, and a lot of people in the chat participating. But the thing that sucks about it is that it's a whole lot of just I don't even know if they're real people. It's like just a bunch of trolls and probably bots and people like who have no idea like how they got here. They're not interested in my content and they just want to like I don't know. And like in the past few days, while I've been kind of looking into different phenomena on the internet, I've realized that there is like a lot of bots online. And in fact, like I think it's like actually getting to a bot bedrock type of situation where there's like entire fake communities out there and like bots making content for other bots, not realizing like, and bots making bot content more prominent by their interaction, like it's a cyclical thing. I mean, I don't know if it's even like on purpose. But anyway, yeah, that's why I don't like streaming vertical. It does get me a lot more views. Like, as far as analytics go, it looks like it's better for my channel, but when it comes to like actually like having a real connection with my audience, I feel like it doesn't at all. In fact, it makes it worse. It makes it harder to like personally connect with people that are regulars and have been participating on my channel and like as far as I can tell are real actual humans. So yeah, I don't really know what to do with that information. So today I'm going to be looking into the topic of social engineering. And this is a segment where I'm just raw dogging, looking into like these abstract concepts that have been on my mind and are probably like over my head. And I really don't know what to do with this information, to be perfectly honest. I really don't know. I don't even know if I should be like finding this stuff out, honestly. I didn't look over my stream from yesterday and see like how it turned out. But I know a lot of people were having trouble with the chat and with the playback. There was a lot of like interruptions, like, and it wasn't just like one or two people saying this about my stream. It was like half of the people in the chat that were saying that they were having trouble with my stream, and some people even reported their comments not showing up in the chat, just like completely disappearing. And I didn't see them on my end at all. Because sometimes if you say like certain words, YouTube holds your comment and it's like hidden. It's there. I can see it. and then I can decide whether to approve it or not. I don't have any settings for like specific words to hold for review. That's all YouTube. That's not me. But that did not happen. So there's obviously like something else at play here. I don't know what it is. But anyway, how's everybody doing today? How's your day going? How's your week going? It's fucking Tuesday, right? Tuesday is my shot day. I gotta take my shot before I forget. Sometimes I get through the whole day and like I completely just like forget, and then it's like nighttime and I'm about to fall asleep, and then I have to like stop and get up and take care of that. Ow, and I cut my finger at the park today. All right, I'm gonna get my other computer because yesterday I pulled up this computer and I don't usually connect this computer to the internet at all because I just like to have everything on there separate. And that's kind of an interesting newer thing that that affects how we interact with the internet is that and like I'm not a super techie person, but back when I was young, when I was a little whippersnapper on the internet, your programs on the computer didn't interact over the internet with other parties and entities without without you making that happen or without your consent. And if you wanted like program updates, you would go and download them yourself. I remember when it first, like when automatic updates first started happening, I must have been like, I want to say like 14. I don't remember which year it was, but like, you would get a program and you would install it and that program would run. Even if there were updates put out, like on the computer that you had, if the software ran on it when you installed it, it would not stop running on your computer. And you could get updates that would help it like work better, but they weren't like necessary for these programs to run. So I have old software on my computer, on my work computer, that I don't want updated. And there's a number of other reasons why I don't want my computer to connect to the internet, because it's really hard if you're not like a programmer to be aware of non-consensual changes that will be made and are made to your computer and your software. Yeah, without your participation, without you knowing. And who the fuck knows what's happening with that. And the same with like your phone software. I've been kind of having a bit of, I guess, I would like, I've been kind of going down some rabbit holes involving the way that social media interacts with us as humans and vice versa. And I don't expect that I am the person to like crack this wide open. And I don't think it's even safe for me to like ask too many questions, But I am going to look up social engineering, and we're gonna read what the definition of that is. Does anybody in chat know what social engineering is? And let's see. What's up, Tonya and Heart and Mind Matter? Neurally divergent. What's up, batshit? How long are you going to be on here for? My live streams are typically an hour long. So does anybody has anybody heard of social engineering before? What do you know about it? I've heard some people talking about it passively in like an influencer way, and since I am a content creator, I guess like I don't really consider myself to be an influencer. If anything, I kind of feel like I'm more in the realm of like an anti-influencer. Whatever the fuck that means. I don't know. But just like by definition, what I do does involve like, I guess maybe a certain level of social engineering, as well as like any type of advertising, even if it's like small advertising, like for a party or your own personal event or something, and marketing. A big part of marketing in the modern world is social engineering. So let's see. In the context of, and I'm looking on Wikipedia again. Just because it's on Wikipedia doesn't mean that it's true, and that it doesn't mean that it doesn't have like an agenda behind it. The thing about Wikipedia that I do like is that like just humans collectively can go through the process of like participating in compiling information for Wikipedia, and there's definitely situations where like groups will like spam the edits of a Wikipedia article so that wrong information is up for an amount of time. That absolutely does happen. It's like, you know, there's editors out there duking it out for like one line of information in some person's bio or, you know, whatever. But I'm looking at it anyway because, like, to be completely real, like, I don't know of anywhere better and more reliable. Like, at least I understand how Wikipedia works. Like, I'm not going to try and find this information from, like, random, you know, random websites or, like, reporting sites or whatever. And I don't have, like, a million years to look into the credentials of all of these sources. So I'm just using Wikipedia as kind of like a jumping off point, and, you know, so that's where we're getting it from. It's just a good jumping off point to see like what the general public has and is privy to as far as information on a topic. So in the context of information security, social engineering is the use of psychological pressure to influence people to perform actions or divulge confidential information. It has also been more broadly defined as any act that influences a person to take an action that may or may not be in their best interests. So, like, by definition, an influencer online is a social engineer. Psychological pressure to influence people. So, yeah, like advertising, or like on my other episodes, the Learn With Me Live episodes, I have been talking about like astroturfing a lot. And I don't know how many of you saw those other episodes from the last few days. Anybody in chat remember what astroturfing is? That's a really big part of social engineering, especially online. Online is kind of like ground zero. That's our battleground for your mind and your time and your interaction with these algorithms. Hell yeah. Thank you, Beatlemania. Beatlemania says a fake grassroots movement. Yes. So AstroTurf is like a manufactured social movement. Hold on. I got to turn the brightness up on my phone here because it's like really low. And I'm also turning on Do Not Disturb. JC Moses Law says grassroots orgs drawing supporters under misleading motivations. Almost. A grassroots organization is like a real social movement, something organic, like, like say you and I live in the same neighborhood and we think, like, we look around our neighborhood and we're like, you know what, like, I think our community could really benefit from having like a small public gathering area, just like, like a little park where we can all just kind of hang out and kick it because it's all just like, it's just dismal in this neighborhood and there's nowhere for people to chill. And there's this empty lot that's been empty lot for like a couple of years and there's no plans to do anything with it. Like, we should have a petition or something, to be able to use this lot for block parties or some shit like that. Or, you could just like not bother with all that and just do it, But that would be like a grassroots movement, like just as an example. But an AstroTurf movement might be like somebody in that neighborhood does not want you to use that lot for community gatherings or whatever, like hanging out, and they might start a fake petition on the internet that says like, this particular neighborhood has an interest in like stopping crime or something, and then they put out this whole thing with fake signatures on it saying like, we're concerned about crime and all the crime is coming from people being on this dirt lot in the neighborhood or something. Just as an example, it's a fake grassroots movement, AstroTurf. There's somebody behind it, but the funding for this fake movement is unclear, and it's always going to be like a nefarious party. So social engineering, it says here, social engineering attacks have been increasing in intensity and number, prompting research into novel detection techniques in cybersecurity educational programs. And there's a note from another editor that says, when have they been increasing in intensity and number? I wonder who typed that, because it's, I mean, maybe I'll do some editing on this, because I think that an editor is asking for specific citations on that conjecture. I think it's like pretty obvious, but when it comes to an encyclopedia entry, you do want to cite your statements. This is why I like Wikipedia. Research undertaken in 2020 has indicated that social engineering will be one of the most prominent challenges of the upcoming decade. The ability to thwart social engineering attacks will be increasingly important for organizations and countries. Social engineering raises the question of whether our decisions will be accurately informed if our primary information is engineered and biased. Yeah, seriously. Techniques and terms. All social engineering techniques are based on exploitable weaknesses in human decision-making, known as cognitive biases. That's an interesting term. I'm going to open that up next. Whoops. Oh yeah, this is the computer with the left and right clicks switched around. I'm left-handed. Let's open a new tab. Cognitive biases. Yeah, we're going to read up on that in a sec. Social engineering differs from psychological manipulation in that it doesn't need to be controlling, negative, or a one-way transaction. That is interesting. Manipulation involves a zero-sum game where one party wins and the other loses, while social engineering can be win-win for both parties. I guess. Like, yeah, I guess. Like, I mean, yeah, social engineering is like a neutral, it's like a thing that occurs. It can be like good or bad, I suppose. Like, you can influence people to, like, I don't know, give a shit about the environment. And that's good. And you could influence people to, I don't know, like, I guess if I could socially engineer something, I would want to influence people to stop buying new things. Like, in general, I want to make wearing brand new clothes uncool. I want it to be uncool as fuck. I want people to feel embarrassed when they buy clothes from a store or from a website with tags and, like, you know, like, it's just been made. Like, I think that people should be embarrassed by that. Because it's bad. Like, textile waste is so out of control. So I guess, like, yeah, you could influence people to do good things. That doesn't mean that it's not nefarious. Like, I would rather just tell you guys to stop buying new clothes. Like, because I could, like, make a video essay with a bunch of nice graphics and, like, fast edits that, like, hold your attention, and I could employ all of the tricks of the platform that I'm on here, which is YouTube, and play by all the rules that they want me to play by to have a successful video that would influence y'all to stop buying new textiles, right? But I would personally rather just tell you why I think that it's not good to do that and appeal to your sense of reason and logic. Social engineering is nefarious in that it's dishonest, and that's just my opinion. I guess I would be open to, like, a philosophical conversation about whether it is wrong or not. But at the very least, it is, like, dishonest, and it's roundabout, and it also is, like, really condescending, because it's like social engineering assumes that you, as a free-thinking, reasonable human being, could not come to these conclusions on your own when presented with the information that I am presented by. And you know what? Wikipedia could be social engineering too. We don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know, like I said, I'm just using it as a jumping off point. And words have power. If you have the power to define entire, like, words, and concepts, that's a lot of power. That's, like, more powerful than like money and governments. Like, controlling the information that people are able to get, that's a lot of power. That's crazy. And the other day we were talking about how, like, we all know that there's a lot of bots online. There is a lot of bots. I don't know if anybody in the chat has ever looked into dead internet theory. Oh, says, would a proposition that sole purpose is to stop another proposition considered astroturfing? That's not part of the definition. Like, that doesn't have to do with whether something is astroturfing or not. Astroturfing is a movement that is not by the people. It's a seeded movement. So it's like a false movement to do something. Um, and I guess like some examples, and it's like really hard to like, I'm AstroTurf. We looked into a couple of examples of AstroTurf the other day. In politics, astroturfing is an attempt to give the false impression that a certain candidate or policy enjoys widespread grassroots support of the community. Um, I don't know how many times I need to like explain this to you guys. Like it's really like like think of the words, okay? Grassroots is grassroots. It's grass that grows, it's organic, it has roots. It doesn't come out of nowhere. AstroTurf pretends to be grass, okay? And you look at it from afar and you might think like, wow, that's some nice green grass over there. And then when you get up close and look at it, you're like, that is not grass at all, actually. That's like, that's the difference between an AstroTurf movement and a grassroots movement. Like, fake, real, okay? And people with money, lobbyists and people from big companies get paid a bunch of money to influence the minds of real people with AstroTurf concepts by making it appear like there's things going on that aren't actually going on and getting people to jump on board with those ideas. Um, let's see. These are different methods of social engineering. These are the techniques and terms. And I'm going to open up the psychological manipulation because psychological manipulation is different than astroturfing. It's like the same concept, but with malice. It's malicious. So, like, if you're in a relationship with an abusive partner, they, or, you know, yeah, like an abusive person might, here, I guess, manipulation is defined as an action designed to influence or control another person in an underhanded or subtle manner which facilitates one's personal aims. I really don't see the difference between psychological manipulation and social engineering. I'm going to be completely real. Because, I mean, like in a psychological, from a psychological standpoint, you know, this is like an individual versus another individual. And it posits, like, I mean, it probably says something different in the DSM. I don't know. But it posits that there is an underhanded or subtle matter which facilitates one's personal aims. Like, what does that even mean? Like, a person manipulates another person for their own personal gain. Is that not what? I guess, like, social engineering would be like trying to influence people's actions without malice. But sometimes social engineering is like for personal gain. Like a lot of times it is. So I guess maybe manipulation would fit under the social engineering umbrella. Like some social engineering is manipulation, but not all manipulation is social engineering. I don't know. Or is it just like in the eyes of Wikipedia and whoever controls the information that we get on the internet that manipulation isn't bad when companies do it or when politicians do it or political parties or whatever, or when they do it on social media. That kind of brings me to social media in general being social engineering. So let's see, pretexting. Pretexting is the act of creating and using an invented scenario to engage a target victim in a manner that increases the chance the victim will divulge information and perform actions that would be unlikely in ordinary circumstances. An elaborate lie. It most often involves some prior research or setup and the use of this information for impersonation to establish legitimacy in the mind of the target. So pretexting would be like, I guess, if you were in contact with a person that you chatted with on the internet, and in your mind, this is a real, actual person that you've built a relationship with, and I guess it'd be like catfishing might fit under this, I guess. And you know, maybe this person is saying like, oh, you're the only one that understands me. I'm stuck here in my home country where I'm in danger, and I just need you to like give me this information or send me money or whatever. Pretexting, interesting. The pretext. A pretext is an excuse to do something or say something that is not accurate. Pretext may be based on a half-truth or developed in the context of misleading fabrication. Waterholing, the next term. Waterholing is a targeted social engineering strategy that capitalizes on the trust users have in websites they regularly visit. Okay, this is a good term to remember. Waterholing. The victim feels safe to do things they would not do in a different situation. A wary person might, for example, purposely avoid clicking a link in an unsolicited email. But the same person would not hesitate to follow a link on a website they often visit. So the attacker prepares a trap for the unwary prey at a favored watering hole. And this could be like an account on Instagram that you regularly see memes from that you think are cool or funny, and then maybe oh, this actually happened to me recently on Instagram, and I've noticed a lot more nefarious activity on my Instagram since I started interacting as Anarchist News. So there have been a few instances where I have interacted with a couple of different anarchist Instagram accounts. And, you know, they'll put out a meme and I'm like, yeah, I resonate with that, you know, hit like. Or they'll put out like a news update and I do a quick look to make sure it's like a real thing that happened. And it is. So then I like it and share it. And then they will message me or request like a collaboration on a video or a post. And I'll look at it, look into it, and be like, you know what, like, yeah, I guess, like, I don't exactly understand the finer points of the, you know, what's going on in whatever region this post is based in, but like everything checks out, like as far as my my politics go and my morality goes, like, you know, this happened with the Kurdish resistance in Iran, where before I understood, and this is kind of what started this series, before I understood who the Kurds were, where they came from, and what role they were playing in West Asia, i.e., the Middle East. I got invited to share a couple of posts about it, and I truly didn't understand. I did accept the collaboration just on the merit of trusting at least somewhat these accounts to be like reasonable, and also I resonated with um, I guess the portrayal of this as an important anarchist social issue, where it's like it's got words like freedom fighters, and like feminist resistance, that type of thing. Like, uh, what were some of the words that caught my attention? Um, I guess the like something along the lines of like resistance against imperialism, because I'm always down to resist imperialism. I think that's good, but I didn't look into the finer points of what was going on. So this was successful astroturf in that it generated a response in me that was concern about something that I really had no idea what it was. Um, so I accepted the collabs. It was like a few different ones, and this was like very shortly before the war with Iran broke out. Um, so these interactions were meant to, as like a pretext to generate um, a certain response to the attacks on Iran. And this happened to a lot of people. This happened to a lot of anarchists on the internet. I know other people had posted and shared and commented. Like, I genuinely believed that there was an ongoing movement to resist fascism in Iran because of this content that I had seen. And not just from like one person, it was like a lot of different accounts posting all of these different things. I kind of held back on interacting with it because I really didn't know. And it wasn't until I actually looked into who the Kurds were, their history, and why the CIA was suddenly funding them. Um, yeah, I I got pretexted by some like, I mean, I'm sure these accounts are fucking CIA accounts. And this is why I'm like struggling to um like I genuinely don't know what to do with this information. Like what am I supposed to do? I can see that there is absolutely CIA astroturfing on Instagram targeting people that at least have some type of predisposition to extremism, or at least in their eyes, extremism. As an anarchist now in the government, I'm possibly classified as a terrorist. I don't know. As an anarchist, most of what I do is like um, read and um, like distribute food and supplies to people in need, and uh, yeah, send small amounts of support to people who are political prisoners in the US prison system, and like spread awareness to other people who give a shit about that kind of thing. And I have gone to a couple of protests against ICE. That's, I mean, literally that just was like, it looked like me helping other people to bring snacks to people who had been marching for a while, and bringing water, and also bringing medical supplies out to where people were being actively attacked by cops. And that was intense, but that's like such a tiny, tiny part of what I do as an anarchist. Um, all right, baiting. Here we go. This is the next term. Baiting is a form of real-world Trojan horse that uses physical media and relies on the curiosity or greed of the victim. In this attack, attackers leave malware-infected floppy disks, CD-ROMs, or USB flash drives in locations people will find them. Give them legitimate curiosity, peeking labels, and wait for victims. That's funny. Okay. Unless computer controls block infections, insertion compromises PC's auto-running media, hostile devices can also be used. For instance, a lucky winner is sent a free digital audio player compromising any computer that it's plugged into. A road apple, the colloquial term for horse manure, suggesting the device's undesirable nature, is any removable media with malicious software left in opportunistic or conspicuous places. It may be a CD, DVD, USB flash drive, infecting the host and attached networks. Again, hackers may give them enticing labels such as employee salaries or confidential. Yo, actually, okay, so I was about to say, like, I don't know about all this, but let me tell you, I actually got by this recently too. And this is so weird. Like, never in my life has this type of shit happened until really recently, like, really recently. But even today, after I scheduled this stream, and I think I deleted them actually, but I got, maybe I didn't. Let's take a look. I did delete the ones from earlier today, but let's see if I have any from a few days ago here. Okay, let's see. That's not it. That's spam. I have gotten a lot more spam lately too. And I don't. Oh, it's, well, it is because I got with baiting. So actually, here's my story. So I was working on getting my EBT turned back on, and like for whatever reason, it had just been off for a while, and I hadn't noticed, and I finally, like, my EBT was off for like a couple of months actually, because I hadn't gotten around to fixing it. And then I decided to. I'm trying to remember what like what the order was, what the chronological order was. While I was in the process of getting my EBT turned back on, I got a message, and I wish that I had saved it. This was like slightly before I started keeping track of all this weird shit going on. But it, like, I don't get got for this shit. But it got me. It was, oh shit. Nope, that's not it. Okay. There's definitely like, there's a beginning to this. I know there is. While I was trying to fix my EBT, I got a message that looked official, like, and it was during this process that said, like, this is the California Social Services Office. It was like a text, and it was from like one of those like 6-number things, you know, that's like that official shit comes from. And it was like, give us some of your information so that you we turn your EBT back on. And I was like, oh, thank fuck. You know, I sent in the paperwork. Awesome. You know, I just had surgery. I haven't been able to work. Like, I really did need that extra money for food while I've been healing. And tomorrow is my 6 weeks, so I'm like basically totally healed now, thankfully, which is good. But anyway, I get this text that is like, this is the California Social Services Office, like, click this link and give us your information so that we can turn your EBT back on. So I did that. And I don't think I gave them my social security number, but I did give them, I don't remember what I gave them. I don't think I gave them my credit card number. Yeah, I got. It was not the California Social Services Office. It was absolutely not. And I only figured it out like as they had sent me an email to confirm. And I'm going to actually see if I can find that email. Like there was a moment of hesitation. Like, I went in, I started filling out my information, and then I got an email, and I was like, I almost went and like responded to it again, and then I looked at it a little bit closer. I'm gonna see if I can find it in here. Snap program. Yeah, yo, I'm gonna show you guys this without like showing too much of my information here, because this is spooky. This is actually really spooky. This is how I got. Okay, this is a bait. I got baited, and I accidentally gave my information to some site. And ever since then, I've been getting weird messages, a lot of spam, and I also have gotten about $130 worth of withdrawals, like small microtransactions on my bank account. So maybe I did give them my credit card information. Actually, I don't have a credit card, actually. I have a debit card. I shut down my debit card today. Y'all are not prepared. You guys are like witnessing the fucking wingnut downfall of Cornelius. Like, I'm actually being fucking like fucked with. But here is, without showing too much of my information, and that is my government name. This is a non-government site. Look, it's posing as the Snap program. I'm gonna flip it around so I don't show you anything that I'm not supposed to show you about myself, because I don't want to do this. Okay, so this is the spooky part. Here. This site is privately owned and information is provided free of charge. Apply for food stamp assistance SNAP program with our guide. This is not what I thought it was. And I'm gonna, actually, no, I don't want to get like all fucking going down this rabbit hole. But that's what got me. Navigating programs. This is kind of our guide. What is your guide? It's like a fake fake snap program that is just like a guide, I guess. I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be. Posts. Let's see. Yeah, it's literally just a fucking fake snap program thing. Um, all right, let's see. Let's check in on the chat. Loch Ness Monster says there are currently people connecting dead internet theory to the new Resident Evil game. Funny enough, scrutinizing the reviews online. That is funny. I'm interested in looking that up. JC Moses Law says, I think I confused astroturfing with a verb because it ends with ing. And now I understand it refers to the fake grassroots org. No, astroturfing is a thing that you do. AstroTurf is a fake grassroots movement. I feel like I like go like I is this a difficult concept to grasp? Like I learned about this in middle school. And I'm sure they don't teach you this shit anymore in middle school, but like in politics and history class, like you learn about propaganda. Like not a lot, but like a little bit. And that was one of the buzzwords that we learned was astroturf and grassroots. That was like I want to say like 5th grade curriculum. Did other people not learn these terms in 5th grade? I also did go to a private school, so maybe that had something to do with it. Yeah. The more I do this segment, like, the more concerned I am. All right, let me see. Loch Ness says the We're in Hell 2-part series on the creation of the web and dark web lays out the history of the internet. Yeah, I've seen that, and it's pretty good. I would say, yeah, I did see that. It's pretty good. Um, if you're diving into mass manipulation, then you should be deep in the files right now. I'd recommend studying the Harvard Roundtable photo from the Epstein estate and the blackboard behind them. I'm not going to do that, man. Honestly, like, I feel like the whole everybody being expected to be balls deep in the Epstein files right now is kind of part of like a mass social engineering situation. Because like if you look at it and if you look at the effect that it has on the general populace, like most people are not psychologically and emotionally equipped to process the sheer volume of absolutely vile content that they're being asked to look over. Like it's actually causing very real trauma to a large group of people. And I'm not saying that like you should pretend that it's not there, that it doesn't exist. But there are people with fucking PhDs and like backgrounds in this type of thing that are looking these over. Like not every single human being on this planet needs to subject themselves to the absolute filth that is being presented to us. Like the hot take, I don't know, like is that crazy to say? Like yeah, we are aware that that the Epstein files exist, and we are aware that our societies are built around a power dynamic that enables the absolute worst of our species to escalate to positions of power. Like, I don't personally have to read, like, how many pages are in the fucking goddamn Epstein files? Let me see. How many pages in Epstein files? Like, I honestly think that this whole, like, I'm not saying that the Epstein files are not real. I am saying that they're being used to assault our collective consciousness and traumatize it so much that we just give up and relinquish control because people get overwhelmed. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do about that? That's where I've been emotionally. Like, you know, it's really stressing me out. Like, what do I do? And then, you know, I go online on Instagram with my anarchist.news and I'm like, you know, maybe I can make some friends who are also anarchists and overwhelmed by this shit. Maybe some of them live in LA and we can go on picnics together or, like, you know, read a book together or, like, you know, whatever. Or maybe I can share some information that will help other anarchists nearby to feel less alone and shitty. And you know what the result of that has been is that I get targeted by these AstroTurf accounts that are bombarding me with disinformation, and it's been causing me, like, real emotional stress. Let's see. Freddy Skateboard says there's actually a propaganda technique called flood the zone. Okay, let's take a look at the propaganda technique. Thank you for that input there, Freddy Skateboard. You've been really good for input lately. So the number of pages in the Epstein files, it says here, justice.gov, Department of Justice publishes 3.5 million responsive pages in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. 3.5 million pages of absolute filth. Like, if a person, like, why the fuck? I would actually have to, like, dedicate the rest of my life to reading this. Like, why the fuck would I dedicate the rest of my life to reading 3.5 million pages of child sex trafficking? That's insane. Like, you guys, like, you have to understand how insane that sounds. Like, if somebody came to me and was like, read this, and it was like how much mass is 3.5 million pages? Like, if you were to print this out, like, okay, like, how, like, if anybody in chat wants to be, like, a math warrior, like, can you calculate how long it would take a person to print out 3.5 million pages, or how much space that would take up, or how long it would take somebody to read all of those, any of those questions. If you are in chat and you're, like, autistic like me and you're like, I bet I could figure out that like how long it would take somebody to print out the entire Epstein files, like, please go ahead. Loch Ness says Star, Gates, and Chomsky. I don't know what you mean by that. Patty N says flooding the zone was how Doge slash Musk started his current regime, overwhelmed daily. Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that too. Okay, I'm gonna look up flooding the zone. This is pertinent. I'm glad that we're doing this. Maybe I'll even do like another hour of stream just so we can learn some more stuff because I feel like this type of segment we could do this for as long as we feel like. This is like it's probably healthier for me to do this type of thing as a content segment rather than just like laying in bed and scrolling my phone because this honestly has been taking up way too much of my time, and if I only do it to capitalize on YouTube, then great. Also, speaking of which, if anybody wants to get down with the kickdown, there are links in the description. I am a real human being, and I have a real opinions and concerns, and I need to buy real groceries and real dog food for my real dog. Actually, speaking of my real dog, I'm gonna give her this garbage. Everything you buy at the store is fucking trash. But she doesn't give a fuck. Satan doesn't care. I try to be more like Satan, you know, like we all gotta eat. I was talking about BDS yesterday, and that's like a whole different rabbit hole, actually. And I talked to my therapist about it today. I'm glad that I did. Because if I didn't have a therapist to talk to right now, I would actually be like, you know what, I might have to just go back to having a flip phone, dude, and like going on the internet only on the computer intentionally. There you go, Satan. Yeah, baby. That's my good baby. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah, we love the Satan. If you love Satan, then get down with the kickdown. There's PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App on in the links below. I guess I could drop those links too in the chat. Hi, Sweet Pea. You're such a good girl. All right. Flood the zone is a political strategy in which a political figure aims to gain media attention, disorient opponents, and distract the public from undesirable reports by rapidly forwarding large volumes of newsworthy information to the media. The strategy has been attributed to U.S. President Donald Trump's former chief political strategist, Steve Bannon. Interesting. Man, I can't believe I got by that fucking fake SNAP benefits website. That's fucking bullshit. I'm genuinely really upset. I'm just gonna buy a new fucking. I'm gonna get a new number. But also, there's like apps where you can pay a subscription, and they like actively go and send emails to delete your shit from like lists and stuff. I don't know. All right. I'm just grabbing my my link so that I can. How do I fucking. Dude, come on. There we go. All right, here's my Venmo link. Please get down with the kickdown. I really did have to shut down my card today because I was getting charges that I did not authorize. So I went to the nearest ATM and I withdrew $200, which is all I had. So I have $200, and I'm going to be getting my new card after this weekend. But I don't have I don't have any money. But at least I'll have a card that is not compromised. Hey, there's me. All right, here is my Venmo. Whoops, dang it. That's not what I'm trying to do. Dude, come on. So when you send a link, I need to turn this on mute. There is, oh yeah, I do need the user code. There's like a unique signature afterward. That's the cookies information, but I guess I can't send you my Venmo without that. I don't know. I don't really know, like, I don't know what you can find out by, like, looking into that user code. Like, maybe you could find my IP address or something, or like my location. Maybe, I don't know. But I am on, or like maybe you could find out what server I'm on. But yeah, anyway, let's see. Loch Ness Monster says it must have erased my comment before I corrected myself. YouTube has been deleting a majority of what I type. Interesting. Well, just type it again. All right. The strategy came to public light after Bannon told Michael Lewis in 2018 that the Democrats don't matter, the real opposition is the media, and the best way to deal with them is to flood the zone with shit. Trump adopted this strategy during the 2016 presidential election, followed by other right-wing political figures such as Eric Zemmour and Elon Musk. I've never heard of Eric Zemmour. Use of strategy. See also, attention economy. Economic view of human attention as a commodity. That is an interesting concept as well. Let's open that up. Big lie is propaganda technique. A big lie is a gross distortion or misrepresentation of the truth, primarily used as a political propaganda technique. The German expression was first used by Adolf Hitler in his book Mein Kampf to describe how people could be induced to believe so colossal a lie that they would not believe that someone could have the impudence to distort the truth so infamously. Interesting. Gish Gallop. That's when a person in a debate attempts to overwhelm an opponent by presenting an excessive number of arguments without regard for their accuracy or strength, with a rapidity that makes it impossible for the opponent to address them in the time they're presented. I have heard that one, Gish Gallop, which is like pretty much what every political pundit does when they're talking to each other. They'll just like say a bunch of crazy shit, and it'll just be like so much stuff like you don't even know where to start. And for a person that doesn't know anything about these topics, all they hear is this person confidently saying a bunch of shit and the other person struggling to respond. Madman theory, what's that? Madman theory is a political theory commonly associated with Nixon. Tried to make the leaders of hostile communist bloc countries think Nixon was irrational and volatile. Man, I feel like Wikipedia has gotten a lot more like loaded terms, even just since like the last couple days. Man, where can we even like turn for information anymore? It is overwhelming. Like, how can you know what? Like, I guess it's just kind of yeah, like what can you do? Um, just accepting that there's not really like I guess news is dead. There's not really any reliable way to get information. I mean, you know, there's like there's entities that build rapport, I guess, that you might trust. But even so, you're kind of at their mercy. Oh man. Okay, so a cognitive bias. In psychology and cognitive science, cognitive biases are systematic patterns of deviation from norm and or rationality in judgment. They're often studied in psychology, sociology, and behavioral economics. A memory bias is a cognitive bias that either enhances or impairs the recall of a memory, or that alters the content of a reported memory. Explanations include information processing rules, i.e., mental shortcuts called heuristics that the brain uses to produce decisions or judgments. Biases have a variety of forms and appear as cognitive or cold bias, such as mental noise, or motivational bias, or hot bias, such as when beliefs are distorted by wishful thinking. Both effects can be presented at the same time. There are also controversies over some of these biases as to whether they count as useless or irrational, or whether they result in useful attitudes or behavior. For example, when getting to know others, people tend to ask leading questions which seem biased toward confirming their assumptions about the person. However, this kind of confirmation bias has also been argued to be an example of social skill, a way to establish a connection with another person. Let's see, I'm just looking. There's a lot of information on cognitive bias. Man, I could do like a whole video on that. Okay, let's go back to techniques and terms of social engineering. So, baiting literally happened to me. Ad phishing is a social engineering technique in which malicious actors use online ads to deceive users into believing they're interacting with legitimate brands or devices. According to Google, these deceptive ads often mimic trusted entities such as banks, software providers, or customer support pages. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. Quid pro quo. An attacker offers to provide sensitive information or pay some amount of money in exchange for a favor. Okay. Scareware. The victim is bombarded with multiple messaging. This is all kind of like. This is kind of old. Like, this is from like the beginning of being online, where this was all like stuff that was a real problem. Maybe it's a real problem for other people, but I feel like I'm pretty decent at like blocking advertisements on the internet and not like I mean, obviously I got baited into giving my information to a fake SNAP benefits site, which sucks. So I guess it's getting better. But like ad phishing, I remember learning about ad phishing when I was just like a wee child, you know? Like, don't click shady links. Just don't fucking click shady links. More so, I wanted to get into like larger scale, like affecting society in general. Like groups of people getting the impression that something is happening in the world that is not or isn't happening in the way that it's being presented. And like at this point, we can't trust the news. We can't trust TV. Like I don't watch TV. I haven't. I don't remember the last time I owned a TV or if I ever have in my adult life. Like I've been led to believe that people have like TV subscriptions. I know people like in my life that do have that do watch TV fairly regularly, and they do have like a couple of subscriptions on their TV, but mostly they're just watching entertainment. Like they're not watching TV for the news. I don't know anybody that does anymore, except for like old people who have not had adequate intervention um, from their families to like stop watching the fake news. Like, um, Freddie says that's why sites like Substack and Ground News are so valuable these days. I agree, but also like I don't know how much I trust Ground News, and also Substack is like it's a blog site. Like anybody can post to Substack. It's like the zines of the internet. And I'm an anarchist. I love zines. Zines are great. But also one thing that's kind of come up is that like I feel like a lot of people get the impression that zines are like anarchist Bibles, like they're infallible. And that is not true. Like by definition, a zine, like this is a zine here. This is an independent anarchist publishing. It's called A Pagan Anti-Capitalist Primer. I have read most of it, and like I agree with the basic premises, but I don't agree with a lot of the statements in here. And by definition, like an independent publishing, it's not peer reviewed. You know, maybe this one was from a group of people that had like a peer reviewing process. I do not know. I don't think it does. And I know there's different like distros that have built rapport with the anarchist community. So their publishings have a little bit more weight to them. But just because it's in a zine does not mean that anarchists accept this as truth or that it's infallible or whatever. By definition, a zine is an independent publishing that is probably not peer reviewed. And, same with any blog on the internet. Like, just because somebody has an Anarchy A as their profile picture doesn't mean they're even really an anarchist. They could be a Fed. And I've noticed that a lot of the people that I see, at least on my Instagram, are just that. User WL says, "What's up, guys? What's up?" Yeah, I guess I'm kind of concerned with my own reaction to the things that I've been seeing on social media. I would even go so far as to posit that social media in and of itself is social engineering. Like at its very core and basis. Like everything that you look at, you're giving one of three like data points or responses. You either well, I guess on Instagram it's like you like or you don't like or you comment, reshare, repost, or share. I guess that's 4, and including not interacting, that's 5. 5 different data points that you could give that give feedback to the algorithm of how you received that particular post. And then they're analyzing that. And not only that, but they're also able to analyze like how long it holds your attention, and how many times you go back to watch it, how many rewatches you have. So it's like there's actually a lot of information that they can get about your reaction to seeing this content based on what you do. And the algorithm is constantly adjusting based on that feedback from you. And it is not beholden to anyone to show you factual information. In fact, there is incentive for these algorithms to show you things that will upset you, or things that are just like untrue, demonstrably untrue. And it benefits the algorithm more to continue showing that and flooding the zone, as it were, to elicit your response. Because, and here we have attention economy, which brings us to attention economy. The attention economy refers to incentives of advertising-driven companies in particular to maximize the time and attention their users give to their product. Attention economics is an approach to the management of information that treats human attention as a scarce commodity and applies economic theory to solve various information management problems. Attention is focused mental engagement on a particular item of information. Items come into our awareness, we attend to a particular item, and then we decide whether to act. Huge part of social engineering. That's like kind of the whole thing. The economic value of time can be quantified and compared to monetary expenditures. Research from a wide range of disciplines, including psychology, cognitive science, neuroscience, and economics, suggests that humans have limited cognitive resources that can be used at any given time. When resources are allocated to one task, the resources available for other tasks will be limited. Given that attention is a cognitive process that involves the selective concentration of resources on a given item of information, the exclusion of other perceivable information, attention can be considered in terms of limited processing resources. And this concept first was articulated in 1971. He noted that many designers of information systems incorrectly represented their design problem as information scarcity rather than attention scarcity. And as a result, they built systems that excelled at providing more and more information to people, when what was really needed were systems that excelled at filtering out unimportant or irrelevant information. Simon's characterization of the problem of information overload as an economic one has become increasingly popular in analyzing information consumption. And that's back in the 90s. It's a different world now. Let's see. In 2022, there was a paper written for Big Think that attention economics adversely affected scientific research. The attention a scientist's work gains from the public now plays into its perceived value. Scientists list media exposure counts on resumes, and many PhD theses now include the number of times a candidate's work has appeared in the popular science press. Science has succumbed to the attention economy. They add that study results are publicized without proper peer input or reproducibility. So this is like a late-stage capitalist problem, I think. That's crazy. All right, this is a big issue here. This is like I said, this is kind of over my head. I think it might be over like most people's head. um, Holy shit. There's like I have more questions and concerns than I did when we started here. Anybody else? Anybody have some insight, input, or am I just talking you to sleep? Talking you to sleep. What's up, Sapphire? How you doing? Social attention, collective attention, in advertising, attention economics. Attention economics treats a potential consumer's attention as a resource. I feel like they're really, really fine tuning that with social media apps. I I really genuinely think that social media is more harmful to socializing than it is good. Um, I honestly think it's like kind of detrimental um, to general mental health and socializing. But also, yeah, it's difficult. Um, I'm still mulling it over. I'm still figuring it out. Um, Patty N says flooding the zone is pretty much how things still are now with tea. What do you mean? What is that? Like TikTok or something? After a full year of it escalating almost daily up to this point, Iran war. Yeah, for real. Yeah, there has been a lot of flooding the zone and a lot of just like what is it? What's manufacturing consent and social engineering leading up to this point. But was the ultimate point behind all of that to like it to manufacture consent for World War III or any part of World War III, or just was it like as short sighted as like our government wants to attack the Middle East again, West Asia, for oil? Like, is it all just manufactured consent for oil? And yesterday, I looked up the world, what was it called? The world clock, world economics, or like oil numbers and use. Let's see. What was that website that I went on the other day? It was it's not The Economist. It's like world. I'm just gonna look up world clock. I know it's not world clock, but worldometers. That's it. And they're the numbers for oil use in the world. Obviously, the United States is at the top of the list. China, India, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Japan, South Korea. Japan is small, man. How is Japan in seventh place for oil use? See, this is where it starts getting hairy too. Like this is the stuff that they're trying to distract us from. Um, Oil is the lifeblood of imperialism, and I don't know like why that is specifically. that's just the operating system that they're on. And then there was like a concrete number that I saw when I looked at this yesterday. And energy outlook menu, where is it? I gotta find it because it was like so shocking to see. And I looked it up earlier today too, and the number was different, but it was on Worldometers. And yeah, I don't know who publishes these numbers, but we can definitely find out. There we go. Days to the end of oil. It says less than 37 years. The other number I saw, which was based on the amount of use, like 2 years ago, I think it was 2024, it said 47 years. I would definitely believe that it's something more like 37 years at our current rate of use. But like that is crazy. So for reference, I'm going to go do a search. And I'm not searching on Google. I'm searching on Ecosia, which I don't know who owns Ecosia too. And like, I got similar fucking wacky response on other search engines. So I'm going to just type in, when will oil run out? Oh, on the overview, the AI overview of Ecosia, this is not the response I got earlier today when I searched through Ecosia. But, you know, it says responses can be accurate. Inaccurate, we recommend you check important facts. Yeah, no shit. But according to the AI, it says oil reserves are estimated to run out around the year 2052. But that's actually crazy because that's actually interesting because I looked this up earlier today. And the first handful of things that got pulled up, it said that we are not going to run out of oil on the planet. It said that we're just not going to. And I thought that was really a strange thing to pull up. So I'm actually gonna go on Google here. And I turned off this computer yesterday because I don't use Google and I was getting some weird results. So I'm just gonna check it on Google and see what Google says. Let's see. Have you heard of Professor Jang? He predicted the war like 2 years ago and has valuable insights behind the movement of the U.S. government. Interesting. Yeah, I'll look him up. But first, I'm going to do a Google search. Oh, wait, I uninstalled Google on here. Okay, well, I have Microsoft, whatever the fuck. Let's see. Which I can't uninstall from this computer, I think. It won't let me. I probably could figure it out if I needed to, but I'm just going to do a Google search. Let's go to google.com on Microsoft Explorer, whatever the fuck this browser is. Oil running out. So the Google AI overview says the world is not imminently running out of oil, with known reserves estimated to last approximately 47 to 56 years at current consumption rates. That is not what it said when I searched earlier today. And then it says people also ask, at current rates of consumption, estimates suggest oil and natural gas could run out in about 50 years. Natural gas, too. Peak oil on Wikipedia. As of one day ago, there are pieces about running out of oil amidst the U.S.-Israel war with Iran. So I guess like even in just like the last day, last like 24 hours, there has been some scrutiny on this, which is probably why these results are different than they looked earlier. Like yesterday, during the stream yesterday, and like this morning when I looked into these things. Yeah, this is not what turned up earlier. What country owns 18% of the world's oil? Venezuela, of course. That's, I mean, yeah, it's an oil war. It's always been oil wars. Maybe that's why, it's like capitalism is all about money. And if the main way that these billionaires are making money is with oil and it's running out, and with the rise of attention economy, huh. Peak I just clicked on peak oil debunked just to see like if I had a cognitive bias, like if I had the pretext that the world running out of oil was a lie, which like there are absolutely people who are primed to believe this. Then I might search peak oil debunked, and this is what Google AI would tell me. It says peak oil, the theory that global oil production would hit a maximum, then rapidly decline, has been largely debunked by technological advancements, specifically hydraulic fracturing or fracking and horizontal drilling, which unlocked vast, previously inaccessible reserves. U.S. production, which was predicted to peak in the 1970s, actually hit new highs in 2018. Why peak oil failed to materialize. This is still Google AI telling me this. So I've been telling you guys, like, if you're Google searching, you're already getting your information skewed. And if you're stopping at Google AI when you search and reading that, you're straight up just like you're what's the word that I'm looking for? You're being social engineered. You're like that's literally like what's the term here? Social engineering would be not water holing, not baiting, probably pretexting. Pretexting. Water holing. Oh, it'd be water holing. Yeah, that's actually like major, like like a textbook example of water holing, but like in the absolute extreme, because Google has like primed you to trust it as your source of information, and then it puts the AI at the top, and you know that that's not like a reliable source of information, but because of attention economy, you've also been primed to go for the quickest and easiest thing available. So you're going to read this and you're going to get wrong information. And it's not beholden to anybody to give you correct information. Peak oil failed to materialize because technological revolution, innovation in shale oil and unconventional sources that proved that supply is more flexible than previously thought. Resource miscalculations. Early predictions underestimated the total volume of recoverable non-conventional resources. Market dynamics. This is all bullshit. This is made up. See, the thing about AI is all of the information that it has is curated by the people who own it. And who benefits from you thinking that there is no such thing as peak oil? Anyway, I'm gonna put in Professor Jang so I don't forget. Chinese Canadian educator. Okay, I'll look into Jiang Shukin. I don't know how to say that. Shukin. Not sure. It's a teacher. Oh, and he's got a YouTube channel. Nice. Predictive history. All right. Well, I'll check that out. That's thanks for the recommendation. Loch Ness says they're seizing the land for development into tech centers, data farms, and for alternate water sources. The Middle East is reinvesting and branching out with current admin's help. Saudi money is the main driver of our current AI bubble. Let's see. Lesser nations dependent on oil will all fall eventually. Sapphire says, destroying the planet for some fake ass fuckery. Yeah, seriously. All right. Well, you know, it's been a fun stream, but I am tired now. I feel more overwhelmed than I was before. Yeah. How are all of you doing? How are you doing? I hope nobody's been getting caught up in the same doom spirals that I have been, and I've noticed it directly happening because of my interacting with social media. And I guess, yeah, it's definitely from that. I know it's from that. I know it's been harming my mental health. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. Because, like, I've been looking into this issue and trying to get a good handle, like a good understanding on how much of a problem it is. And like genuinely, the more that I look into it, the more the more insane I feel, because like how I mean, it stands to reason that they can create like echo chambers. I mean, there are social media echo chambers that draw you further and further down these pipelines that make you feel simultaneously more connected to a community that is not real, could be completely astroturfed, and also isolates you. And like, I see commenters on Instagram that are like referencing such like niche memes that like I wonder if like a human even had anything to do with creating these references at all, or if it's just like bot echo chambers creating these fake scenes, these fake communities and fake understandings of the world, and real people get sucked down those pipelines. And like I don't trust anything that I see online anymore. Like I really just have no idea. Like I want to know what is going on in the world. And this is like worse than a media blackout. This is like the illusion of having free access to information and media and connection to people, but it's so flooded and so skewed that it all becomes irrelevant because you can't possibly verify anything that you see. So it's like, yeah, we're dealing with new warfare and new techniques that cause mass confusion and social engineering. So that's kind of why I started doing this series. I don't know how much I can do this because it's like it's maddening. But I might keep doing it. I don't know. We'll see. And in the meantime, I am working on editing some videos. I actually did a lot of work on my do you want to open that up? Yes. Actually, I might just get right back to it. Yeah, it's a good video. Stay tuned, and there will be edited videos too. I'm not gonna just like start being a social political commentator. Like I'm allowed to do whatever the fuck I want on my channel. I can talk about whatever I want. If you didn't like the segment, I don't really give a shit. And if you want to see edited videos about adventures and living off grid and stuff, then go to my videos instead of my live streams and watch those. And I will be putting out a condensed version of how far will my $200 car go. It's coming along nicely. I'm just trying to make the pacing really quick because people's attention spans are not very long these days because of attention economy. But also, I'm not going to completely compromise my artistic integrity because I want my content to be marketable. So yeah, if you like my stuff and you like actual grassroots organic shit, then hit the like button, hit subscribe. Send me a couple bucks on my Venmo or Instagram, or not Instagram, jeez. It's like stuck in my head now. My Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal if you would like. And I'm going to just take a look and see if anybody did so I can shout you out before I go. Let's take a look. Attention economy. Nope. How many of you sat and listened to me talk for the entire stream, or like at least 50% of the stream? Raise your hand in chat if you've been actively listening to this entire rant. Anybody? I'm just curious. Hell yeah. Okay. Hey, what's up, yard buzzards? They're under the overpass because it's raining. Shit. Loch Ness Monster and Freddy Skateboard both actively participated and listened to this whole stream, which kind of like flies in the face of like attention. Like, if attention, if like how, like, yeah, if attention economy like worked in like a concrete way, I would be like doing pretty well for myself here. Like, can you, in the age of social media, can you imagine like giving your like 2 hours of your attention to an Instagram reel? Like, that's crazy. That's never gonna happen. That's also kind of why I prefer to do the horizontal rather than the vertical. And I don't know, like that kind of pokes holes. Anyway, I'm not gonna go down a rabbit hole right now. That's more shit to think about next time. I guess I'm gonna have to do another segment like this. We are at 2 hours almost now. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns before I go? Because I don't usually do 2 hour streams. I usually just do 1 hour streams. Yard buzzards just joined. I know. I hope you stay dry. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous. Like, I don't know how your day's been. Maybe it's been shitty, but one of my favorite things, personally, is like, even if it's been like a shitty fucked up day and you've just been in the trenches and shit, is finally finding like a nice bridge where it's quiet and it's dry and you're just like, you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is get dry and watch the rain and maybe cook something and just wait it out. Honestly, that's like when I think about like when I'm trying to center myself, in therapy or something, like, and my therapist is like, imagine a safe, nostalgic place, and that's like often what I'm thinking of, is just like sitting under a fucking concrete bridge in the rain, or like a bando or something. I love finding like a weird old industrial building in the middle of fucking nowhere, like a warehouse district that's all trashed, and like the only people you'll see is like a couple of crackheads, like, you know, in a fucking square mile, and you're like, well, I hope they didn't see me and they won't follow me, but as long as they don't, I will be like the only person in this entire complex. Like, that's, I think that's beautiful. I hope you're dry. Your train hop is under that one. Sweet. All you got to do is wait then. That's awesome. I'm honestly kind of jealous of you. Like, that's a very zen position to be in. You're safe, you're good, you're going to catch that train. And if you don't, then there'll be another one. Let's see. JC Moses Law says, nope, running around to herd the chickens out of the cold. That's good. Hell yeah. You got to do that. Loch Ness says, I wish more people would start working through these issues like you are doing. I wanted to see how far down the rabbit hole you go. Yeah, I'm trying to not bite off more than I can chew, because I'm definitely feeling like this type of investigation could drive a person actually crazy. So I'm just kind of, you know, figuring it out. Yard Buzzes says, we dug out an area for the three of us and it's lightning and passing. Thankfully the rain hand out till we stopped and got off the gondola. Nice. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Stay safe and warm. If you can build a fire, make yourself a hot little snack. Or warm up. Dry off your socks or whatever. Awesome. All right, folks. I didn't see anybody get down with the kickdown today. That's fine. All right. Debbie says, I've been listening all along since you asked. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining me. let me know in the comments section what you wanna, if you wanna hear me talk about this type of thing more, or if you want me to take a break and do some fun stuff. I can do some, you know, other episodes. I will be going to Slab City soon, so keep an eye out for some Slab City content. And I have some editing. So I will see y'all later. Take care of yourselves. Don't spend too much time on social media. It's a fucking psyop, and it's designed to make you go crazy. So, take it easy. Bye.